In this video, I'm gonna show you how to completely disassemble the SSG10. We are using the SSG10 A1 variant, but this process will be pretty much exactly the same for all the variants A1, A2, A3. The only difference is the stock, and in the case of the A3, the hop-up block, but it's held by two screws, just like the other variants as well, so I'm sure you won't have any issues following it. So let's get started. First, I'm gonna take off the bipod, and I'm gonna also take off the scope because it makes it easier for us to handle the parts, and it's not too bulky, too big. Okay, and now we can start disassembling. The stock is held in place by 2 or 3 Allen key screws, so I will remove them. One in the front, one in the middle, and one near the trigger guard. Now I can just take off the stock, and here I can also remove the trigger guard. That's it for the stock, and now we will continue with the other parts. Just remove all the screws that you can see from the bottom. If you are disassembling it completely, doesn't really matter. So, you can take off the trigger box. We will take a look into that a little bit later. And now, since we have all the screws removed, also this one, don't forget about this one, which is holding the barrel, we can start unscrewing the outer barrel with the hop-up and the inner barrel. Just like that. Let's remove the hop-up lever. Gonna keep the screw in there so that it doesn't get lost. And now the inner barrel. There is a spacer in the middle of the barrel. You can leave it there. You can also remove it. If you really want to remove it, just unscrew the cap and you can use the barrel to push the spacer out. But really there is not too many reasons why would you want to remove the spacer. So I'm gonna leave it in there. Now let's continue with the hop-up unit. We have a few screws on the outside. First I'm gonna remove these two. Now here, be careful, because there is an insert which belongs here. This makes sure that there is an even pressure on the hop-up arm or on the hop-up pressure arm. And now we can continue with the hop-up unit itself. So we have 2 screws. Let's remove them. Now we can open the hop-up housing and take out the inner barrel. Here there is a C-clip which is very tiny. Be careful not to damage this one, because that's what's helping to keep the system sealed, that you don't get leaking air. Now I can remove the bucking, and yep, that's the bucking. There is also another C-clip. I can also take that one off, or just leave it there. There is no reason to take it off, because it is kind of tricky to get it back on. So just leave it there. Okay, just like that. Set it aside. That's the whole barrel. Now you can clean it if that's the reason why you are disassembling the SSG10. And here we have the other part. Here, be careful, there is a pin which actually makes the clicking happen. And there is also a spring underneath. Just like that, don't lose it, keep it together. I will put it back where it belongs so that I have it nice and organized. Here we have this part with the spring, don't lose it. And here, the hop-up arm itself, there is one Teflon ring on the bottom and one Teflon ring on the top. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole barrel with the hop-up unit. C-clip also belongs here. And now we can move on to the cylinder and this part. So here we have the spacer that is on the inside here. I'm gonna leave it next to it. Here you can also take out these screws to take this part off if you want to switch to a left-handed conversion kit, things like that. But you know, it's just for screws. I'm gonna leave it like this. There's not much to it. I'm sure you won't have any issues doing that. Okay, now how to open the cylinder? There is a little trick to it. You can just take a regular Allen key, small enough to fit into this hole, and just turn it, get it going, and now you can continue with just your hand. Be careful, it's under spring tension. Take out the piston, spring, and the spring guide. Let's move on to this thing right here. So, this is the complete disassembly of the cylinder. Be careful, there is again a pin with a spring right here. You don't want to lose it. I'm gonna put it back where it belongs and put it right here. Okay, now we can open the trigger box. Actually, I'm gonna first remove the safety. There is again a spring, screw, and the safety itself. No reason to separate them. If you accidentally, when you are cocking the gun, if you put it accidentally on safe sometimes, you can also choose to not put the safety back. It is not completely necessary, you just need to be careful if your gun is loaded. You cannot put it on safe, so always make sure your gun is not loaded when you are, for example, in the safe zone or when you are storing your gun, things like that. Okay, now we have several different parts. We have this thing right here, we have the trigger itself, the sear, spring, and a few Teflon rings to make it smooth. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the complete disassembly of the SSG10 A1. Like I said, this is for 99%, similar or the same actually for all the SSGs. And if you follow this process, you can disassemble all of them. Now in the next video, we will put it back together.